Environmental Education, contact class of 2021. I do this on behalf of your tutor, Mrs. N. Bock. General information. There are a few things to remember when answering the examination questions. Read the examination instructions and adhere to it at all times. Please write neatly, understandably, and clearly. Number each page correctly. Before answering any question, it is important for you to understand exactly what is asked in the questions. When reading the questions, the action verbs used will indicate what is expected of you. Make sure that you understand the meaning of the different verbs. Refer to study guides for meanings or definitions of action verbs. Please look at the marks allocated to each question and decide what the length of your answer should be for the marks allocated. For example, do not cover an entire page for 2 marks. It is important to remember that although the examination paper does not necessarily cover all the work in your study guide, it does not mean that you only study the work you did in the assignment. All the information in the study guide is important. Unit 1. Self-awareness and positive self-image for learners. In this unit, it is important to give personal information about themselves. Part of your responsibility as a teacher is to win the child's trust and get them to be comfortable with you. Before you guide them into giving personal information, you need to explain why they need to give information. For example, the child might be lost, hurt, have an allergy, or might have a condition. Therefore, it is important for them to be able to know and provide certain information about themselves. For example, name and surname, age, date of birth, parents' names or guardians' names, physical address, street and town, etc. Components of learners' self-image. Here, DPPE students should know the operations a child may use when there is a discrepancy between the self-image and the ideal self. For example, avoidance, low motivation, compensation, resistance. Promoting learners' beliefs that they are unique and worthy. The JPE students should also know the 4 main emotions: anxiety, sadness, anger, happiness. Also important to know the concept assertiveness, how to assert your interpersonal rights. For example, say no to a request, not give other people reasons for every action you take. Ask other people to listen to your point of view when you speak to them. Differentiate, point out the differences between assertively, non-assertively, aggressively. Ways to say no in an assertive fashion. Say no without feeling guilty. For example, simply say no or I don't want to. Repeat your statement until the other party accepts it. Unit 2. Body parts, their functions, and the role of the senses. Here you should know the main body parts of the human body: head, neck, trunk, limbs. Each body part has different functions and contains different organs. For example, head contains the brain and the 4 sense organs: nose, eyes, ears, tongue. This is only for DPPE students. Circulatory system consists of 4 major components: heart, veins, arteries, blood. Important also the function of the major components. This is for the DJPE students only. As important is the 5 senses: sight, touch, hearing, smell, taste, and their sensory functions as well as their role in learning. Furthermore, you need to know how to take good care of your body and what children have to be taught on this topic. For example, body care, practicing good hygiene, getting plenty exercise, healthy eating habits. Also give attention to the glossary in this unit. Unit 3, features, roles, and responsibilities of family. In Unit 3, you should know the role and responsibilities of family members. The table in Unit 3.2 is very important. How a teacher can get children from non-traditional families to participate in discussion about their families. Here you need to point out, for example, a family can be made up of different people. Family members do not always live together, etc. Features of positive family relationships and how to maintain such positive relationships. Many families struggle to deal with social, economic, and emotional issues that affect how their families function. Make sure that you know the factors or events or problems that cause or contribute to family stress. For example, death of a spouse or child, divorce, retrenchment, etc. Strategies, ways that can help families to overcome stress and cope with it. For example, know that a family is not alone in dealing with stressful events. Develop a support system, etc. Unit 4. Home addresses and features of different homes and different building materials. In Unit 4, you have to study important landmarks to identify on the way home, to school, and other places. For example, walk the route to and from school with the children, pointing out landmarks and safe places to go if they are being followed or need help. Encourage children to take a friend when walking or cycling to and from school. Remind children never to accept a ride from anyone unless you have told them it is okay to do so. Unit 5. Features of the school environment. In Unit 5, you should know the following. The importance of identifying school staff members. It is important for learners to know all the school's staff members to ensure that they feel safe and welcome. You cannot expect a child to identify strangers if they do not know who belong. School rules and the suitable ways of behavior they promote. It is of utmost importance that the school instructs the parents and students at the beginning of each year on how they can help make the school a safe and welcoming place. For example, explaining why the school doors are locked. Announce and explain the school rules, particularly the school philosophy and goals. It is important for each school to determine what rules will be set for the learners. Many of these rules will be specific to the school and the community it serves, but some rules should be universal among all schools. For example, learners should arrive on time every school day. Learners shall attend each official school day. Importance of having and obeying school rules and what every child should know about rules. For example, rules are there for your personal safety, academic reputation, peer consideration, respect for authority. Unit 6. Elements of own and others' cultures as seen in the community or society. You have to give attention to ways to respect other people and their cultures. Learn to accept and respect people's cultures is an important step that opens your mind to the world around you and everyone's unique differences. We have to treat people the way they like them to treat us. For example, do not insult or make fun of them. Listen to others when they speak. Take a look at their history. Teachers can teach learners to appreciate diversity and treat it with respect. Give attention to ways in which teachers can assist children and young people to do so. Here we talk about the following. Talk about stereotypes. Be a role model for children and young people. Model healthy attitudes. Encourage diverse friendships. Emphasize similarities. Unit 7. Categories of domestic and local wild animals and to care for them. In Unit 7, it is important to differentiate between pets, farm animals, wild animals. To know what has been achieved in Namibia regarding sustainable management of wildlife resources, for example, increase in buffer zones around the country's protected area network, recovery of wildlife population, increased economic and social benefits to communications. Categories of local wild animals. Unit 8. The importance, saving, and prevention of water pollution. Namibia is a large country with vast deserts and as part of environmental education, it is crucial to teach children to look after our water resources. Know the following concepts: direct and indirect water, transpiration, precipitation. Also know the uses and ways to save or conserve water in Namibia. Furthermore, you have to know the dangers of drinking polluted water, which is organic or inorganic elements in tap water. Also give attention to Table 8.5.1 in your study guide. Also of importance is the ways how to prevent the pollution of water resources. Conserve water by turning off the tap when running water is not necessary. It reduces the amount of contaminated water that needs treatment. Unit 9. Local plants, seeds and leaves. The main topics to learn in Unit 9 are identification of the 4 different vegetation zones in Namibia, poisonous plants in Namibia, for example, the rooibos and poisonous leaf, Namibian plants with medicinal value, for example, devil's claw, alleviate a number of ailments including arthritis. Functions of leaves, for example, leaves are the site of food production called photosynthesis. Unit 10. Weather patterns, seasonal changes, and implications thereof. In this unit, you should be able to compare the concepts weather and climate, indicate similarities and differences. For example, weather and climate are related concepts, though they do not refer to the same phenomenon. Both describe atmospheric conditions. Explain the common features of the 4 seasons. Unit 11. Key factors that influence one's health. Here you should know the difference between healthy and unhealthy food. For example, healthy food is nutritious food that is good for us and promotes health, whereas unhealthy food has no or little nutritional value. Why exercise are necessary to be healthy. Importance of sleep for kids, for example. Kids may feel tired or cranky or may be unable to think clearly. A school assignment that's normally easy may feel impossible. The 5 steps that we can follow in order to keep the environment clean, for example, reduce, recycle, and reuse are the famous 3 R's that can keep our environment clean. How you can teach children to become good stewards of the environment, for example, through environmental education, setting a good example, getting involved together, and observing others. Unit 12. Safety behavior for pedestrians, passengers, and around the home and school. Good passenger behavior. The presence of passengers in a vehicle and their behavior can positively and negatively influence road safety. Passengers can make a significant contribution to improve safety by looking after the driver, by performing tasks on his or her behalf, looking after themselves by wearing a seatbelt at all times. Guidelines to follow if young passengers, children, are in the vehicle are safer for children under 12 years of age to travel in the back seat. Safety measures in the home. What parents should do if they own firearms. Also know how you can help children practice safe behavior, for example, not talking to strangers. Some of the most challenging moments of parenthood and teaching are when you know that a child has a problem, but he or she is unable to talk about it. What can parents and teachers do when children are reluctant to share their troubles or problems? What parents can do to help their children stay safe and avoid dangerous situations? For example, know where your children are at all times. Make it a rule that your children must ask permission from you before going anywhere. Unit 13. Family, school, and national customs or celebrations. Important topics to learn in this unit. Types of school celebrations, for example, religious celebrations depending on religion in school. National festivals. Public holidays in Namibia are generally days to celebrate an occasion. It is typically non-working days during the year. For example, the Namibian National Day, 21st of March, to celebrate the independence of Namibia. Some valuable tips for studying successfully. We understand that to be successful, one has to work hard and with determination. Therefore, we offer the following study tips so you can keep progressing positively towards achieving the success you deserve. Find some study buddies. If you need the companionship of other students for academic success, feel free to ask IOL for help in identifying other students who may want to study with you. Set goals and deadlines and stick with them. Stay in touch with your tutor. Email or call your assigned tutor when and if necessary. Best times to contact the tutor is between 1800 hours and 2000 hours. And your tutor is Mrs. N. Bock and her detailed numbers. Enjoy your studies, good luck, and all of the best for your exams. Thank you.